Do you ever think that you were... Do you ever think that you were a bit too over-analytical, maybe, at some points, about your career, about yourself as a person, about your place in the scheme of things?
Only when I'm doing interviews. Seriously, I mean, it's like therapy doing interviews. I mean, I don't spend the rest of my life sitting around talking about myself.
Well, then, was 88 going to New York and just sort of dropping out and becoming a barfly, was that another form of therapy?
It was a definite attempt to try and shed that skin and see... I mean, it really was... I was like, I wonder if I could have a different hairstyle. I'd been in this band for so long, and we were always working. I never had 3 months off to find out if there was some other things I might want to do. So, you know, I got drunk a lot and screwed around a lot and found that I actually... I didn't get any real long-term sustenance from that. But it was nice for, you know, a couple of months.
But in any way at all, like, did you ever feel it was this could easily take over?
No. No, it was quite apparent when I met my wife that I was much happier being with one person than trying to maintain lots of vacuous relationships.
And what does it mean now to be a father as well, or does it make any difference?
I think it's just quite natural. When you have a kid, you adopt the responsibilities, and your character becomes bigger, I suppose. It's just there's a new thing in your life. I think there's a great misconception a lot of people have about when people like me have children. A lot of people say to me, well, it must be a great sacrifice. You know, you have to give up this and you have to give up that for your kid. It's no sacrifice at all. It's completely natural to want to stay home with my kid as opposed to going out on the piss. I'm going home for his birthday next week. And people think I'm mental. I'm flying there in one day and flying to Cologne the next day. Not mental at all. I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay, and home is still Manhattan, is it?
Yeah, same part as well. West
So
Village.
there's no talk of you've had your fill of New York, or you've had your fill of, and moving back to Britain anyway?
No, there isn't. And even the people that I work with have finally stopped nagging me to try and come back to Britain, where my career really is. And I think people finally realise that I am actually happy there.
Do you think you're mellowing, or you've just become more self-confident?
I think bottom line, it's maybe difficult to separate the two. It's, I think I've looked back at what I've done, and I've seen, well, you know, I've never done good things, I've never done, you know.
Yeah.
But I think the things that I'm proud of, they weren't the excursions. Every record had a couple of songs on that I still like.
Yeah.
And they all really sound like they could be on the same record. They all just sound like me. So I think, you know, there's just no point worrying about it. The things that I do best are just sort of Lloyd Cole records, and I intend to make a few more of them before I go away.
And didn't you start this new album as an electric album? I mean, really...
Absolutely, yeah. It was not till I was about 1/3 of the way through making this record that I finally decided I've had enough with concepts. And I thought, well, what would happen if I just went into the studio and didn't think about what kind of record I was going to make? And believe it or not, that's the reason the record sounds the way it does. It was done by deliberately rushing, so that there was not time to think about, oh, can we use this sound or can we use that? It was just like, what should we do next? Oh, let's stick a cello on it.
Right, yeah. But I mean, like, so many people eventually get around to making an album where they play all the instruments themselves. Was that with you in this case, which you almost did, was that by accident or design?
It was by accident. There was no bass player around. And then we suddenly thought, oh, bass playing that we did the other week sounds all right. And as opposed to having a bass player sitting around in the corridor, getting frustrated, hanging around waiting to do something, I just ended up playing it. The bass playing's not very important on Lloyd Cole records. it's you know, if there was a hierarchy, it's not that important on the record. It's more important in a live format.
What were you looking for when you this time auditioned for musicians for the live band? Or was it difficult?
Feel, really. People that could get on with me, get on with each other, learn things fairly quickly. And I think you can tell just by sitting down with people, just by the way they're dressing and by the way they're behaving, if they're going to have a bit of common ground with you. And they have to have some. And Robert, the drummer, is Cuban, and he comes from a completely different type of culture to me. He's got a different sense of humour, but we have a bit of common ground. It's just enough, you know. And he's making an effort to understand how I think, and I'm making an effort to understand where he's coming from, to know how to direct him, you know, whichever way I want him. But personality was the most important thing at the end of the day. What would be lovely would be to be in a situation like Sting or somebody has, where he has a band that he loves working with, that he's able to keep on a retainer, and he's able to work with the band when he wants to work with the band, and do things on his own when he wants to do things on his own. That would be lovely. What was not attractive to me toward the end of the Commotions was worrying about everybody else's livelihood being dependent upon my whim. And you know, I think in my position I should be able to disappear for every 3 months if I feel like it. But I don't want to have to. If I do that and I'm in a band, I'm ruining people's earning power for 3 months.
I think in some ways that if the image is 5 o'clock shadowy sometimes, or moody, or even humorless, as some people might say, well, hold on, that people might then miss the sense of humor or the sense of self-deprecation that's definitely there to anybody who give it more than 5 minutes.
I think the photographs are to blame, to be honest.
That's what I mean.
I agree with you. I think I don't have a natural smile for the camera. Just if I smile, it looks plastic. So I try and look neutral, and I end up looking depressed. I worked very hard on the latest set of photographs to try and get this thing that kind of looks at least content. And I think the album sleeve, at least I don't look like I'm confronting people with my misery.
Do you mind there's one side of the publicity, or one side of getting yourself across, or having to kiss babies, or whatever it is politicians do, sell records and whatever. Obviously you tour, but in talking to people, like, with the image that you've had, and with like the good look photographs and the matinee idol, this, that and the other, whatever, the moody this, do you find
with a hangover.
With a hangover. Do you find if you were approached by a Hello magazine kind of thing of yourself and the wife and the kid at home, would you do that?
I think I'd have to be very broke. I did a jeans commercial last year with Helena Christensen. They paid me quite a lot of money because I needed the money last year.
And you did a drinks one in 88 or 89. That's cool to do as well. Those sort of things are okay, are they?
Well, when you need the money, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line when you've got a kid is you've got to look after him. I have to diversify in the next few years so that if my record sales don't go too well, I've got other options.
Right. Yeah.
Because I mean, last year I made negative £50,000. You know, actually, I didn't make anything. And, you know, purely living off money I'd made a couple of years before that.
Right.
And you can't do that. You know, you really can't be doing that. You can't be spending all this time working on something that makes no money when your job is to look after your kid.
Right.
So, yeah, you do whatever's necessary. I did some acoustic gigs last year. I think MTV Unplugged is crap, but I did some of them because I needed the money. I love being on stage. I mean, it's nothing better than, as a musician, than being on stage and looking down a bunch of people that know all your music and are really happy that you're there in their city. That's a lovely feeling. Just having to be away from home all the time to do it is not easy.
Yeah, but you do need to connect in with those people who know your music, don't you?
Well, it's very nice to. It's not like the sort of teeny bopper, all the wee girls at the front wanting to sleep with you vibe. It's completely different. Yeah. It's a very nice. I don't know. I'm still in a good mood because of it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good enough. Thank you very much indeed, Lloyd, and the best of luck with the album.
Cheers.